Good morning and welcome to our CTE Lunch Series. This week, Matt Winkle and Ryan Curtis will provide an overview of the criteria for an improved career technical education program of study, along with how capstone courses can be used in a variety of ways to provide stretch to a pathway. Lastly, staff will discuss which courses within a program of study are to be taken into consideration in determining when a student becomes a concentrator. Today's session is streaming as a Microsoft Live event. Participants' video and microphones have been muted for this session. All communications can be sent using the QA feature in the Microsoft Live platform. Questions will be pulled throughout the session by the moderator and answered at the end of the presentation. This is the fifth session in our series. Please join us for the remaining sessions October 29th on the CTE 26 provider application and November 5th for regional best practices roundtables. Each Child, Our Future is Ohio's shared plan for ensuring that each student is challenged and prepared, empowered for his or her future by way of an excellent pre-kindergarten through grade 12 education. The whole child is the center of the plan. The state level vision provides an aspirational guide for students, parents, partners in education system. One goal represents the state's annual target. 3 core principles, 4 learning domains, and 10 priority strategies work together to support the whole child and enable the state level vision and goal. Career technical education is uniquely situated to offer students a program of study and capstone experience that will inspire them to identify their future success. The ability for districts to tailor a program of study and offer unique capstone experiences at the heart of Strategy 10 and the state strategic plan. Today, as we share information on career technical education's programs of studies and capstone courses, reflect on how these tools can be used to support your students in graduating from high school and beyond. During today's session, we'll share 2 new career technical education resource videos that discuss program of studies and capstone courses. We will highlight examples of how capstone courses are being offered to students in a few districts across Ohio and answer questions that you may have after presenting the information. The Strengthening Career Technical Education for the 21st Century Act, referred to in short as Perkins 5, requires states to implement robust guidelines for local programs of study. To assist districts with developing local programs of study, the Office of Career Technical Education has developed a resource video that outlines the requirements and quality elements from federal and state law. Hello, and welcome to the Ohio Department of Education Office of Career Technical Education Program of Study Overview. My name is Ryan Curtis, Education Program Specialist in the Office of Career Technical Education. I serve as an Agriculture and Environmental Systems Career Field Consultant and serve as team leads for the CTE 26 program approval process and the Career Technical Articulation Verification process. In our Career Technical Education Program of Study Overview, we will define a program of study and identify federal and state program of study requirements and quality elements. The Strengthening Career and Technical Education for the 21st Century Act, referred to as Perkins 5, requires states to implement robust guidelines for adopting local programs of study. The term program of study means a coordinated, non-duplicative sequence of academic and technical content at the secondary and post-secondary level. Locally adopted programs of study must meet 6 minimum requirements and quality elements at the secondary level. Programs of study shall offer a minimum of 4 secondary career technical courses. To ensure quality, Ohio requires a minimum of at least 4 testable courses with a minimum of 450 course hours and a single workforce development pathway. Middle school VM courses must show a continuation to an approved high school program of study. Programs of study shall identify at least one opportunity for secondary students to receive articulated or transcripted college credit. To ensure quality, a minimum of 3 semester credit hours of college credit opportunities aligned to the technical content of the pathway must be available. College credit opportunities may be offered through College Credit Plus courses, statewide articulation agreements known as CTAGs, or local bilateral articulation agreements. Programs of study shall identify the appropriate secondary academic courses needed for success in the career field pathway. To ensure quality, secondary non-career technical courses shall be identified to show integration of academic courses that enhance the program of study within the career field pathway. Programs of study shall specify an example set of aligned post-secondary technical courses in the pathway. To ensure quality, Ohio requires programs of study to identify post-secondary technical courses through the first 4 semesters of the degree or certificate track, and identify recommended academic and technical electives related to the field of study. To ensure quality programs of study, districts must provide evidence of equitable access for each student to receive courses in their program of study. The final quality element requires programs of study to provide evidence supporting alignment to labor market demand. Pathways shall show alignment to statewide in-demand or critical occupations, or districts may provide evidence of regional demand if statewide in-demand or critical occupation data does not show initial alignment. Ohio uses these requirements and quality elements to approve local programs of study for career technical education providers. Ohio's program approval process, referred to as a CTE 26 provider application, is the mechanism districts will need to submit programs of study for approval. For more information on the CTE 26 provider applications and approval process, please visit the Office of Career Technical Education CTE 26 process landing page. This concludes our program of study overview. Please visit our Career Technical Education landing page for additional information or contact me at ryan.curtis@education.ohio.gov with additional questions or concerns. Thank you. Capstone courses provide districts the opportunity to expand learning experiences within a career technical education program of study. The following resource video has been created to help districts implement capstone courses.
Hello, and welcome to the Ohio Department of Education, Office of Career Technical Education, Capstone Course Overview. My name is Matt Winkle, and I serve as Associate Director in the Office of Career Technical Education. I work directly with the Assistant Directors in managing the work in 16 career fields and 5 career technical student organizations served by our office. In our discussion of the Career Technical Education Capstone course, we will cover the following topics from a 1,000-foot viewpoint today. We will define a capstone course, explore the purpose of a capstone course, and identify the best practices in reporting capstone courses. Oxford Languages and those in our construction pathways would commonly agree that a capstone is defined as a stone fixed on top of something, typically a wall. In education, we should think of capstone through the same lens. A capstone course serves as a culminating academic and intellectual experience for students, typically during their final year of enrollment in a pathway. In the Office of Career Technical Education, we recognize that students should have the opportunity to apply program knowledge and skills in a more comprehensive and authentic way. Capstones are project or problem-based learning opportunities that can occur both in and away from school. Under supervision of the school and through partnerships, students can combine classroom learning with work experience to benefit themselves and others. These can take the form of mentorship, employment, cooperative education, apprenticeships, and internships. As we think of a capstone serving as a culminating experience in a student's program of study, it would only make sense for the capstone to be offered in the student's final year of the program as the fifth course. When students are enrolled in capstone course, it should be reported as any other course with the proper curriculum code and subject code as identified in the program matrix, which can be found on the Ohio Department of Education website on the Office of Career Technical Education landing page. When the capstone course is delivered in an approved CTE program and correctly reported, it should generate CTE supplemental funding at the same category level identified for the career field. When capstone courses are implemented correctly, they can serve as an extension of the career field technical content standards to a higher level. Districts also have the flexibility to design capstone courses that can integrate standards from multiple pathway courses and/or extend learning for project-based learning. Other design models can also permit an avenue for the student to extend learning opportunities through student-led research, or districts can allow the capstone experience to provide opportunities for work-based learning experiences such as virtual or job site placement, entrepreneurship, school-based enterprise, and simulated work experience. There is not a web exam assessment created for the capstone experience, and districts should use caution when allowing students to participate in a capstone course, as it is not intended to be delivered as the first or second course in a student's program of study. To identify the correct way to report a capstone course, please refer to the Office of Career Technical Education landing page on the Ohio Department of Education website. To access the program matrix, please select the hyperlink under the Resources tab. Once you select the tab, please select the correct program matrix based on the current year. As you can see from this slide, a capstone course must carry a curriculum code of VT offered from 120 hours to 280 hours, a VP at 280 hours, or a V3 where the capstone would be correlated to an anchor lab co-op course from 60 to 280 hours. Ultimately, the strategies districts use to create the capstone experience may help identify the most appropriate curriculum code to report the capstone course. This concludes our capstone course overview. Please visit our Career Technical Education landing page for additional information or contact me at matthew.winkle@education.ohio.gov with additional questions or concerns. Thank you.
Capstone courses should be unique experiences for students not available through another course and therefore may look uniquely different from school district to school district, or even within the same building or career technical education pathway. To provide ideas on capstone course experiences being offered across Ohio, we have gathered a few examples to highlight for you today. At Akron Public School, experiential learning is a key component of their CTE Academy model, where they utilize the Ohio Department of Education capstone courses to help support that work. Akron has identified 3 considerations districts should review when planning to implement capstone courses. The first consideration is student eligibility. At Akron Public Schools, all senior students are eligible to participate in work-based learning through a capstone course if they are deemed on track for graduation. The next consideration is scheduling. The majority of Akron senior pathway courses are scheduled in the afternoon, which maximizes the amount of time a student can attend work. Students remain enrolled in traditional pathway courses if work-based learning experiences do not impact their school day. If a student will miss class to attend work, the student is unenrolled from the pathway course and enrolled into the aligned capstone course within the pathway. However, before a student is unenrolled from the pathway course, Akron requires a 12th grade experiential learning packet to be completed and on file with Akron Public Schools Career Technical Education Department. Once the 12th grade experiential learning packet is approved, the student is unenrolled from the pathway course and enrolled into the capstone. The third consideration is monitoring. Akron uses QuickBase, an online database to track the quantity of hours the student works as well as their employer evaluations. The Office of Career Technical Education would like to thank Akron Public Schools for sharing this information on how they are providing capstone course experiences for their students. Upper Valley Career Center campus students in their senior year have the opportunity for an on-the-job training work-based learning experience. Upper Valley provides 3 options on its career campus. Apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is a 2-week in-school, 2-week on-the-job training program. Advanced placement. Advanced placement is academics only with half-day on-the-job training during the lab. And early placement. Early placement is on-the-job training during the 2nd semester of the student's senior year, if the student has met the program's qualifications. Students can enter into the option at any time during the 2nd semester. Additionally, all seniors 2nd semester are enrolled in Capstone as an opportunity to address any skills that may need more reinforcement in order to find employment within their pathway after graduation. Upper Valley Career Center satellite programs also offer Capstone the senior year. Many that are enrolled in the Capstone are those students that are released from school for a partial day for work-based learning experiences. However, Upper Valley Satellites also offer a Capstone in the senior year for those students that have taken all offered courses. This Capstone course experience is an opportunity for the teacher and student to determine a project-based experience that the student will complete over the course of the year. At Fairlawn Upper Valley Satellite Program, a capstone course called Fab Lab is offered in the senior year for those students that had taken all the previously offered courses. In the course, students use CNC plasma cutters, 3D printers, vinyl sign makers and cutters, CAD design software, and welders. This capstone course is a hands-on project-based experience delivered at Fairlawn in a unique capstone environment. This provides opportunities for learning across multiple career fields and pathways to students who have completed their programs of study. The Office of Career Tech would like to thank Upper Valley Career Center for sharing these examples of how they provide capstone course experiences to their students. At Ohio High Point Career Center, in an effort to provide all students with an education that leads to being college and career ready, students participate in career-related capstone projects. Reflecting on who they are and what they want to do, the Capstone project provides students with the opportunity to explore a career of personal or professional interest and address the latest trends or issues through focused study and applied research. Ohio High Point teachers have developed a workbook that identifies guidelines to a successful student-led capstone project. Student projects have uniquely varied in capstone courses over the years at Ohio High Point. For example, students in the business pathway have used capstone course to prepare and earn industry certifications that align to the pathway that may have not fit their normal course structure. In the health pathway, capstone students have completed clinical experiences at the local hospital that leads to their eligibility to sit for the phlebotomy certification assessment. A student in the agriculture and environmental systems career field researched agriculture issues and presented speeches to students during a 7th period class throughout an entire school year, logging over 180 hours of agriculture communication experience related to industry in their capstone course. Additionally, Ohio High Point satellite programs offer capstone courses that provide students with student-led research, ranging from topics of water quality collection around Kaiser Lake, simulated growing seasons for soybeans and corn, and nutrient loading after flash flooding events in their local region. We'd like to thank the Ohio High Point Career Center for these outstanding examples of how they're utilizing capstone courses for their students. When districts are determining if a student has met the definition of a concentrator, please ensure that all of the student's courses are reviewed. Districts should refer to the Career Technical Education Data and Accountability Guidebook for detailed definitions of concentrator and course completion. A student who has completed at least 2 courses in a single pathway shall be reported as a concentrator. When reviewing course completion, districts should pay close attention to the curriculum code element for each course, as it is a key component of the completion course definition, or course completion definition. For more information on concentrator definitions, please review the Career Technical Education Data and Accountability Guidebook found on the CTE landing page. This concludes our presentation portion of our lunch series today. Questions on programs of study and capstone courses can be entered into the Q&A function on your screen, and the presenters today will answer questions as presented by the moderator. Again, we thank you for joining us today and hope to hear you or see you on the next 2 Brown Bag Lunch series.
Thank you, Ryan. My name is Robert Kornak. I'll be monitoring the Q&A session. Please go in there and submit any questions you have, and I will publish them and read them aloud in case anyone is calling in. So we have a couple questions, Ryan, that have been submitted. I'm going to read them right now. Can capstone course be the 4th course in a program of study?
So that's a great question. So when we look at the program of study requirements, Ohio has a quality element that must be maintained and approved, and that quality element requires that the program of study be 4 testable courses that culminate in 450 course hours or more. And so to answer that question, because Capstone is not a testable course, Capstone is not currently able to provide as a 4th course in a program of study and be approved by the Office of Career Tech.
Thank you, Ryan. Next question, they want the name of the tracking system Akron uses. It's Quick something?
I believe it was Quick, I want to say Quick Book, but that's not correct. I'm going to back up in my slides and just grab that so I don't misspeak. And I will say that you're more than able to reach out to Akron Public with any questions on how they're operating. But the name of that program, again, was Quick Base, and it's an online database that they use to track the quantity of hours as well as employer evaluations. And Nathan Runyon, the director or coordinator there for their career tech office, who provided us the information. So Quick Base was the name, Robert.
Okay. Okay. Another question is with Upper Valley. Is Upper Valley using class time for Capstone?
So Capstone courses are class time or are seat time courses. The way in which Capstone is delivered is a big component of that curriculum code element. And so I encourage people to investigate those curriculum code elements to understand how they could potentially be using Capstone. In that model, in Matt's video, he kind of refers to a lot of different ways that Capstone courses can be used. And so knowing which curriculum code element will kind of help districts identify where the seat time will be placed, if that's on a job site or if that's in the school system or in an instructional period. So a lot of that's going to be determined based on that curriculum code element.
Thanks, Ryan. Next question, is Capstone senior only?
Capstone is not considered senior only. In some of the examples that we shared today, you will see that districts have made some eligibility requirements around only seniors accessing Capstone. And a lot of that comes off of the guidance that Capstone must be the 5th course in the program of study. And so for many of our programs, it's not likely for a student prior to being a senior to have went through the program of study, but it doesn't mean that it's not possible. And it doesn't mean that Capstone may not be offered in a different manner that allows students to have that as their 5th course in their program of study, let's say in their junior year. It really kind of is going to depend on if you are a JVSD model that starts in 11th and 12th grade, or if you're a comprehensive model or a satellite model that starts in 7th grade. So again, those factors really make this wide open for how districts implement Capstone, and Capstone is not considered a senior-only course.
Okay, next question I could take, Ryan. Is there any way to print the information from the video recordings? That is a good idea. We will look into trying to create those PowerPoints from the videos into a PDF and possibly post them under the videos on our CTE video resource page. So we will look into that. Next question, will you please provide some guidelines or a sample template we can follow to implement Capstone courses?
That's a really great question. And one of the goals in the Perkins 5 plan for the Office of Career Technical Education is those templates for programs of study. And one of those programs of study that we're working on is the utilization of Capstone in a variety of ways. So we hope that potentially by spring of this year, the CTE 26 and program of study work group will be putting those together. We will be asking the field to, or the education community to look at those and provide feedback. But that is under our state Perkins 5 plan, something that we are to accomplish. So as many of you know, Perkins 5 has given you a lot of things to implement and work towards, as well as the Office of Career Technical Education.
Next question. Can work-based learning experiences that are not associated with a CTE pathway be labeled as a capstone course?
So work-based learning experiences in general, can relate to, but don't always relate to career technical education. However, in order for a capstone course to be part of a program of study, the student would need to be should have been part of that CTE program of study and is accessing this as their 5th course. So a work-based learning experience may be career technical education, or it may not be career technical education. However, if it is a work-based learning experience that is going to be tied to the program using a capstone course, we just want to ensure that it's following those guidelines for work-based learning within an alignment to the pathway.
Okay, next question. How about capstone in conjunction with work-based learning? Would hours need to be logged separately?
So it comes down to the delivery model of how the student is being engaged and meeting those work-based learning hours. Again, if the student's in that entrepreneurship model for their capstone course, or if they're in a placement opportunity or apprenticeship, as long as they're meeting those work-based learning requirements, then capstone courses can be used to facilitate delivery of work-based learning for students in their schedule.
Thank you, Ryan. Next one, they're asking for Matt or Ryan to explain those curriculum codes and how to use them more in depth so they completely understand.
Yeah, so we can touch on this, and again, this is highly situational, and the matrix really lays out for you what the minimums are and maximums are to an extent of course hours. But let's take, for example, the Fab Lab course that's offered at Fairlawn in our example. That course most likely is going to be a curriculum code of VT, because that is a instructional course that is provided within the school building by an instructor for a set period of course time from 120 to 280 hours. So VT, a lot of times think about that as an instructional course where the instructor is leading a majority of the instruction. VP curriculum codes are cooperative learning experiences. These are experiences that take place outside of the instructional classroom. Some of the instruction can be in that seat time, but for the majority of this is going to be employer-based opportunity for students to be outside of the school building in a environment that's providing them course competencies related to the subject code that they're enrolled in, or to the career field that the capstone course is aligned to. V3 curriculum codes are correlated courses, and so using a capstone course as a V3 allows schools to take a VT curriculum code or a VP and extend the student's learning in that particular career field. And so if a student was in environmental and natural resources course during the day, and that student wanted to pursue student-led research in another period within their day, that student could be in a correlated course with the same teacher, same group of students to receive that research instruction. So again, each one of the uses is highly situational, depending on how you want to develop capstone courses into your program and how you want to extend student learning.
Thanks, Ryan. Next question. Am I correct that a capstone course in a program's 4th course can be taken simultaneously?
Robert, can you ask that one more time? I may have not understood that.
So are they correct in their thinking that a capstone course and a program's 4th course can be taken at the same time?
That would be correct. We have seen that in practice, and we do support that, that a student be enrolled in their 4th course and their 5th course within the same school year or same semester.
Great. Next question. If a student is in an apprenticeship course, wouldn't you use the apprenticeship subject code in hours and not the capstone?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So apprenticeship codes, course code, is for those programs that have been identified and authorized as pre-apprenticeship programs through Job and Family Services and the Ohio Apprenticeship Council. So I would be cautious to use the apprenticeship code unless you are an authorized pre-apprenticeship site through those entities. Capstone courses can be used for those internship or work experiences that would not be. And so we have done some work here recently with apprenticeship council and Job and Family Services to get a better understanding. And next week, when we talk about CT 26s, we'll share some of those CT 26 nuances to using the apprenticeship code that I think will help districts distinguish between, is this apprenticeship or is this work-based learning in a capstone model or a capstone course versus an apprenticeship course.
Next question, could a capstone course be a student's first and only career tech course?
Again, capstone courses are meant for students at the culmination of their program experience, and our guidance to that is that it should be the fifth course. If a student was to enroll in their very first course as a capstone course, the district's going to have to build in a lot of safeguards to ensure that that student has the opportunities to advance in the remaining courses in the program of study.
Okay, can you please explain what would happen from a report card, quality program review, or data and accountability standpoint if you have a student take a capstone course prior to the third course of the pathway? Example, student takes one testable course and a capstone.
Yeah, so unfortunately for this student, they are going to have met the definition of a concentrator, most likely, if those examples you gave met the definition of a curriculum code with VT, VP, or VN, or PS. And so now this student is a student who's a concentrator who we are expecting to see 2 assessments from, but they only have potentially 1 assessment from that other course. And so this student would be considered an incomplete assessment record. And so they would show up as a denominator for technical skill, but unfortunately would show up as a incomplete in the numerator. And so again, this is where districts need to be mindful of the guidance and ensure that students are not accessing that as a VT curriculum code or a VP VN curriculum code prior to the 5th course in the program of study.
Okay, next question. Why is a program of study a 4-course requirement, but a student is considered a concentrator after completing only 2 VT courses?
I think that's a great question, and I may end up punting this question to our data and accountability team. I can kind of give you some justification in that the federal Perkins law that we spoke to in the video outlines the minimum requirements for a program of study, and that same law set the definition of a concentrator. And so completion of a program and concentration are not the same in that definition. And so I think that is the difference that you're seeing, is that concentrator is a student who has made it through 2 courses in a program of study or in a pathway, and where you're referring to the completion of the entire program of study that must be a minimum of 4 courses. I will say that we do have numerous programs throughout the state that are more than 4 courses in their program of study because they may be required by law or required by business and industry in that particular area, that students are needing to have more than just the 4 courses.
Ryan, I'm on the data accountability team, and you answered that perfectly. So, right now we have no news questions to go over. I will give it to 12:47 before I close the window to submit new questions to see if anyone can think of questions to submit in that time. So 12:47, I will close the window.
Thanks, Robert. And I will just share out with everybody remaining on the call. As you pursue work-based learning and pursue those experiences for your students, please refer to the work-based learning guide and information. Feel free to reach out to our staff and ask questions on how Capstone may or may not fit a work-based experience for your students or help facilitate it. And also, if you have a unique opportunity that you want to provide students that just doesn't align with current courses offered in a program of study, reach out to us and we can talk with you and look from a case-by-case lens of how courses and capstone courses can be used. I love capstone courses from the ability to add stretch, to add uniqueness, and to provide an opportunity to students that they may not get anywhere else in their secondary experience. And so if you're not currently offering capstone, I hope you will take the opportunity to look and see how it may fit. But I also think that we learn best from our peers, and so gather ideas from your colleagues across the state. I know today we just highlighted 3 schools. I know we have great work-based and capstone experiences happening across the state. So talk to one another. I know it's difficult in this virtual state that we're in currently, but I do think that there's some great examples out there. And then once you've got those examples, if you have questions on how to implement them locally within the rules and things that govern your district, please reach out to us, and our program specialists here at the office would be happy to help.
Okay, that ends our Q&A. We did have one come in. Can you post a link to access the curriculum code information? I believe that is the program matrix that is posted on our website under resources. So if you go to Career Tech homepage on the Ohio Department of Education's website, under resources, you will find the program matrix, and that's where you can find that information.
Also, please reference the EMIS manual as well for those definitions of the curriculum codes and how they're to be used, and what the rules are that govern those reporting elements. But if you do have questions around developing your program of study with Capstone and which curriculum element may be the best, we're here to be a sounding board and help you develop the program that meets your needs.
I would also remind everyone that we are recording these sessions and they are posted on our Career Tech Education Resource Video webpage, which can be found on the CTE homepage under resources. I will look into trying to get those PowerPoints from these videos that we are posting inside these brown bag sessions. Those are also posted on there. Try to get those PowerPoints in PDF form up there so you guys can print them out also. All right, Ryan, you can close it out.